Hey there, David Gordon from TheaterMania here. Here with Madeleine Arthur, one of the stars of Netflix's To All the Boys film series. The latest one comes out tomorrow.
Yes, it comes out tomorrow. Hello, David. It's good to see you.
I feel like this has been a really long journey for you.
It has. I think we started filming the first movie in, oh, am I going to get my years wrong? I think it was 2017.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 2017. It came out in 2018. And here we are talking about movie number 3. I'm so excited that it's coming out tomorrow.
I know. It's really a delight. I think everybody's really going to love it. Well, for starters, for people watching this that possibly aren't familiar, tell us what the To All the Boys series is and who you play.
So I play Chris in the To All the Boys series, and it centers around Lara Jean Covey. And the first movie, she writes a whole bunch of love letters that she keeps in a private hat box that someone, if you haven't seen them, I won't spoil everything, someone sends them out, and she ends up getting some of the boys see the letters, and Peter Kavinsky sees the letter, and they start fake dating in the first movie. And then in the second movie, they're real dating, and then someone else that she wrote a letter to comes into play. And then in the third movie, they are together, and they're navigating the last little bit of high school and figuring out their futures.
You filmed, I thought this was really interesting, actually. You filmed this one, which is Always and Forever, and the last one, which is P.S. I Still Love You, back to back, which it must have felt like a TV show up there in Vancouver.
It did. It did kind of feel like a TV show, filming them in succession. And I should say I play Chris, who's Lara Jean's best friend, if you're wondering where I fit into the mix. But it was it felt so cool to film them back to back, because we had that break between the first movie and the second and third, and then just to kind of get into it and get into that groove of revisiting the characters and the world of To All the Boys. I'm so thrilled that's the way that it happened.
What was it like to, in the middle of like the pandemic and lockdown and all of that, come back and actually watch this and remember at a time when you could like gather with people and crowded scenes all over the place?
Yeah, it definitely element of nostalgia and brought back so many warm memories. And I feel like this movie is really uplifting and joyful and a bit of an escape for right now. So I feel like it's the perfect time for it to come out, and takes you back to seeing New York and its full vibrancy and everything else. And I don't know about other people, but sometimes I'm watching things these days and I go, oh no, they're not 6 feet apart.
Me too. Tell me about developing your character over the course of these 3 movies, because it so rarely happens that you actually see like a trilogy of movies these days, and you only think of it as like a Star Wars thing.
Yeah, I mean, I still, when you say the word trilogy and I think of like the weight of the word trilogy, I still pinch myself. And having the opportunity to play Chris over all 3, and we had 3 books by Jenny Han, so we were so lucky to have this incredible source material, and then get to develop a character over not 1, not 2, but 3 movies is so special. As an actor, you really get to know them and explore, for Chris, really exploring her sense of humor and seeing her and Lara Jean's friendship grow and evolve. And I will cherish that experience forever. The fact that it was a trilogy is still crazy to me.
How it must have felt like summer camp with all of you guys together, just filming this thing back to back. It must have been for fun, I'm sure.
Yes, we definitely had a lot of fun off and on set. Summer camp is honestly, that is the best way to put it. We filmed the first movie we filmed actually in the summer, then the second was kind of like late spring, and then the third was in summer. And so we were always doing things offset, doing movie nights. And in New York, we went out and we would get pizza or sushi or go to get bagels. We were staying in the Lower East Side and right near Russ and Daughters, and liked
awesome.
there. And we went to the Met and explored all over the city, and that was really cool. I spent a lot of time in New York, and that was fun to go with the rest of the cast, and all get to a lot of the cast had also spent some time there, so everyone kind of show each other their favorite spots in the city.
These movies, I didn't realize how like huge the fan base for these movies are.
Yes, the fans are amazing, and we would not be here without them and their support and their love that they've showed for all the movies, and they've stuck around for all three.
What have you heard? Like, what are the biggest like compliments that you've gotten, or the remarks that have touched you the most from the fan response?
I would say whenever someone tells me that they really related to Chris and they go, that was me in high school. I was kind of the quirkier girl, or I walked to the beat of my own drum, and I really relate to that. And that to me is the best thing as an actor, if someone can see themselves in your character. And then hearing just the response of people of all ages loving the movies and connecting with them, I feel like that's what you hope for when you're a part of anything and make any film.
Did you relate to Chris, or was Chris like the furthest thing from actual Madeleine and you actually really had to figure it out?
Well, that's a good question. Chris and I are very different. So there are parts of us that are similar. We're both very sociable. We're both very supportive and loyal friends. But the way that Chris's senses of humor manifests and the way that she kind of moves through the world, that was definitely not quite like who I am, which is the best part about being an actor, because I loved moving in her clothes and seeing how she looked at the world. And it was really cool. And then as we got along to the third movie, to just kind of really knowing how she would look at everything. And then some of her sass started to like trickle down and into me. And I was like, okay, that was a little more Chris. I see how Chris is coming into Madeleine now.
Were you a fan of the books before you started this, or were the books like, did you go back and read them in the middle of the process?
So I read them kind of auditioning process and through booking the part. That's when I fell in love with them, like so many people. And I'm a huge fan of the books, and so grateful to Jenny Han, without whom we would not be here talking today together.
How involved was Jenny in the process?
She was involved, and that was so special and wonderful to have her there and see how, like, what she thought was important about bringing forth in the character, and some of the aesthetic of it, and just hearing her opinions and point of view on the story. Jenny is amazing. I love her so much.
What are you working on anything now, or are you still like in quarantine?
So I have some things in the works, and I'm part of a TV series called Chad that's coming out.
Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of the commercials for that.
Yeah, so that's coming out, and then I'm also in this video art installation called Enclosure, which was supposed to be at the Park Avenue Armory.
Right, yeah.
Right now, or not right now, but like end of 2020.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, due to what's happening, that's been postponed.
Was that an in-person thing, or were you like on a video and?
So that I filmed that in upstate New York a couple of summers ago. It's by artist Rachel Rose, and it's set in the 17th century England, and there's some kind of mystical elements to it. It's about land enclosure, and so I did act in it. So it's this big installation. I don't know. It's not something that's live, but it's. Right. This whole piece, that's this visual art piece that would have been at the Park Avenue Armory, and it was in Arles back in 2019.
Have you ever been in the Park Avenue Armory?
I have. I saw Manifesto there.
That place is insane.
Manifesto was honestly, it blew my mind. It was one of the most incredible pieces of art that I have ever seen in my life. And when I was there, funnily enough, I thought to myself, this is one of my dreams. I want to be in some kind of really interesting art piece at the Park Avenue Armory. And then I think it was the year later that I ended up doing Enclosure, and Manifesto, and Cate Blanchett, and just the whole thing was phenomenal. That place is
gigantic.
Yes, it's massive. It's a really unique and really cool space.
Yeah. Madeleine, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. To All the Boys, Always and Forever. We can find it on Netflix starting tomorrow. It's really wonderful. It made me really nostalgic for New York. And thank you for chatting with me about it.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time. And I hope that you stay safe and healthy. And talk to you later. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye.